Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games back with another cool clock repair video for you this evening. Now, normally on our channel, Joe's Classic Video Games, we do videos on arcade repair, pinball machine repair, and jukebox machine repair. This will not be one of those videos. This is going to be a clock repair video. So if you're only interested in arcade game, pinball machine, or jukebox repair, we'll see you back Tuesday when we'll have one of those. However, on the weekend, I have lately, for the past year or so, been doing repair videos on other things I call amateur repair time. So some of my other interests, clocks, radios, record players, stuff like that. So it's been pretty fun. Now, I want to mention here at the front too, that when we started doing this, our intention eventually was to spin that off into another channel. So I've actually created another channel. We're going to continue uploading these on this channel as well, but for the foreseeable future. But eventually, they're all going to be on our other channel. So I have another channel that's actually called Amateur Repair Time, and there's a link to it on our channel. We're subscribed to it, or you can just type Amateur Repair Time in YouTube and it'll pull up, and you can subscribe to us over there. Right now, most of the older videos that we've already done on this older electronics are on that. You can go check it out. But if you're one of our subscribers to our normal channel, we'll keep uploading them on here too, like I said, for the foreseeable future. But I don't know how long, maybe another year or so. We might upload it to both, or maybe not. Depends on how it goes. There is the way the algorithm works on YouTube is a very complex thing. But here's kind of what goes on with that. It's hard to understand, but I'll try to be real short. If I upload videos on pinball repair, when a new video comes out, the subscribers that are interested in pinball repair will probably watch it or watch part of it or whatever. The people that are subscribed to us that only care about arcade games, when they see a pinball video, they go, "Oh, I don't want to watch that," which is fine. I don't really blame anybody. I don't watch videos I don't want to watch either. But what that screws us up a little bit, because YouTube sees that as, oh, well, we showed half of these people this video and they didn't even want to watch it, so that must not be a very good video. So they kind of kill the reach of the video. They don't spread it around YouTube as much. And you'll notice on channels that you subscribe to, if you don't watch one of their videos for a few weeks, they kind of stop suggesting their videos to you. So the algorithm is very intelligent to an extent. So whenever we do multiple videos on one channel of all kinds of different things, it kind of messes you up a little bit. So for instance, if someone likes watching old clock videos and they have no interest at all in watching pinball repair videos, there's a lot of crossover, but there's a lot of people that like one or the other, right? When I upload a pinball repair video, they're not going to watch it, which kind of screws up the algorithm. And whenever I upload a clock video, a lot of the arcade game and pinball people, they're not really interested in that, so they're not going to watch it. So it kind of messes you up. However, if you make a channel that's got just clock repair videos on it, for instance, if the content's good, whenever it suggests your latest clock repair video to your clock repair people, YouTube will go, this is pretty good. Look, this many people are watching it, and they'll promote it to more people and blah, 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 right? So whenever you do a channel and it's got all kinds of different types of videos, YouTube doesn't like that, right? So eventually we're going to take all of these and put them on the other channel. That's just kind of how that goes. So with all that said, I've got a really cool clock we're going to work on today. I love this thing. I bought this a while back, and I've been wanting to work on it. I'm going to show you there's several things interesting about it, but I'm going to show you what's neat about it here in just a second. This is a Telechron. Now, there is a red dot there in the middle. I have no idea what that means. I guess we'll find out. It's a nice looking little clock. This case is like Bakelite or something. It's plastic, but like a really cool plastic. Now, what age would you say this clock is? Give it a good guess. It's been a while since I looked at it, but just guessing, I think I know how old it is, but just guessing, looking at it again, I'm going to guess, and I'm cheating a little bit, I'm going to guess 1930, 1932, something like that. And the reason that I think that is because it doesn't have any way to wind it on the front, and it says Telechron, which is making me think it's electric. And of course I know it's electric because I looked at it earlier. And the electric ones didn't come out until the late 20s, I don't think. It says Warren Telechron Company, Ashland, Massachusetts. And it has a second hand. I think, or is that an alarm? That might be an alarm hand, actually. We'll see here shortly. But let me show you what's so cool about this. Again, it's Bakelite, right? If it'll focus, it says, let's zoom in. I'm going to zoom in, which helps the focus, okay? Presented by, what in the world? We got to get it just right so we can read it. I can read it with my eyes. I just can't read it with the looking through the phone. I've been working on my car again. People, I got grease all over me. Don't worry about it. Highland Hose Company. You see it? Presented by Highland Hose Company to H.A. Eddy. April 1st, that would be April Fool's Day, if you're not aware, 1930. So if you don't know about these, a clock was considered a good retirement gift, or sometimes if you worked at a place for 25 years, they would give you a clock or something because it represents time and you've spent a lot of time with the company. They used to do all kinds of cool stuff like that in some companies, right? So the Highland Hose Company in 1930 gave this clock to Mr. Eddy. 1930. But here's the deal. The cord is cut off the clock. Now, I haven't messed with it. I have never really messed around with one of these. I don't know anything about it. But I'm kind of thinking we oil it and put another cord on it and see if we can get it to work. So let's check out the label here. Telechron motor, number 184728A, model M, type B2, voltage 100 or 125. I don't know what the C means, and it says 60. And then W2 maybe, licensed only for use for which originally sold. Now I wonder why they say that. They don't want you making a bomb with it or something. Look, it's got a patent of October 29th, 1918. I didn't know they had the electric ones out that early, but maybe. Warren Telechron Company, Ashland, Massachusetts, USA. How cool is that? Look at that. What a cool clock, if we could ever get it to work. So I'm hoping that the cord was just deteriorated, and so they removed the cord, you know, just because it was all shorted out or something, and that there's nothing wrong with the motor. Usually these motors are fine, I've heard. I don't know about on this specific model or the specific type of motor, but usually these electric clock motors will hold up. So I think you know what we got to do first. We got to take this screw out. And that screw out, and that screw out. So let me get a screwdriver, and I'll see if I can take that back door off. Now, a lot of people don't like having things with somebody else's name on it. But personally, I think it's pretty cool. I mean, this is an antique clock. So somebody else owned it already anyway. And it's tastefully done. It's on a little plaque, and it's on the back, right? That's cool. Why would you not want that? The alternative would be one without that plate on it. I mean, I think it makes it nicer that it's got the plate. I'd much rather have one with a plate on it that was somebody's name or something. And if you didn't see on our channel, go back and check it out. That clock there is also a award clock. We did a whole video on it, and it's like 50 minutes long. We kind of looked into, look how dusty this is. We looked into we even found out who the guy was that got the clock. So go check that out if you haven't already. Okay, so this, I don't want to just take things apart, you know, I mean, it looks like, though, I don't know, do we need to take the whole movement out? I guess that would be easier than... Now, look, there's one screw missing already, people. I didn't do that. All right. Maybe if we take the whole movement out to where we can set it down without worrying about damaging the case, we can see on the other side how the cord is installed. It kind of almost feels like it just pulls out. It's moving. See, yeah, I think I'm going to take those 3 screws out, and I think the whole thing will come out if I do that. Look, the red is moving. That must mean something. Maybe it means, maybe that has something to do with the alarm or something. Or maybe it means daytime, nighttime. I don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna take that screw, and that screw, and one is missing, and see if the whole assembly will come out where we can get a little bit better look at it. Mr. Eddie, we're trying to fix your clock, buddy. Okay, so it came right out. The dial is loose. However, there is a little indentation here that fits right there to hold it in place. So no big deal. It's apparently designed that way. It looks like there's one here and one here as well. But that's really loose. But I think that's how it's designed. Also, of course, the glass just comes right out. All right, so there is just a motor with some kind of gearbox, I suppose. I think all we can do really is just put a cord on it. I don't know how you would oil it. I mean, it's possible that you could take that plate off and that there's an oil. No, you can't. Look, it's solid. The whole back would come off, though. Yeah, the whole back would come off if this set wheel comes off. I'm just trying to, figure out if we can oil this or if we just need to put power to it. But it looks like the cloth covered wiring here is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And it looks like this kind of just plugs in. And maybe that screw is how that piece fits on the end of the cord. So I'm going to try to just pull that out. And then we'll see what we can do with that. Yeah, it just came right out. I just didn't want to force it earlier. To me, it looks a little wider than the more modern cords. I mean, the more modern, you know, just pre-made cords. So I think we'll just take this screw loose. Ooh, does that say GE? I think it does. That's the GE logo. We'll just take this screw loose, and then we'll put a new cord in it and run from there. Now, is it going to be a big sin if I use a more modern plastic cord instead of this double looped original style? I think we'll be fine with the plastic one. I don't want to step on any toes or nothing, but you know. If I had some of that in right now, I do have some in. I'm still working on this Majestic radio, and the cord for it is that double braided style. But I need it for the Majestic radio. I'm not going to sabotage it so I can have this right. So I think I'll just put a plastic one on it if it'll fit in there good. I think it will. And then we'll give her a shot. So this is what's inside of it. These are still in perfect shape. Well, maybe not. Look at that. The side of that is deteriorated a little bit. But pretty good shape. This is the other side of it. But we kind of need it because that's what fits in that hole perfectly. There was a little bit of trash in there, which I couldn't tell what it was, but I think it's either part of the covering of the wires or it's the side wall of that right there, which is where the screw is, by the way. And there's a little nut too. And then these just sit in here, up here. And so when you push it on the clock, if I can find the clock without making everybody dizzy, when you push it on the clock, it's touching the side of those pins there. And that in there looks real clean, like everything's fine. Yeah, that's stock. That's Gnostical. Okay, so let me see if I can get these. It's got a little ringlet, it looks like. Or maybe not. Maybe they just got it wrapped around. Let me take that loose and see how they attach that. All right, so we're putting the new cable in. This is kind of how it has to go. That's how they had it in there originally. Now, see how the little lead is tinned and then it's just screwed down? That's how they had it as well. This cord is slightly bigger. It's a slightly bigger gauge than what they had in there. But it loops around the center hole to that side, and then this one loops around the center hole to this side, which makes sense because that would make it a strain relief. And then it sticks up higher than the one side, but the other side has the same relief on it. So it's a pretty cool design, actually. You might want to put solder on that just to make sure that it doesn't come loose, but, you know, it's going to be inside this plug. There's not really a lot of stress in there, but, you know, we're to the point, people, where this thing is not going to be very utilitarian. It's going to be a shelf queen that works, you know. Out of respect to it, that's what's going to happen. So this is going to be just fine for that. And again, the screw through the middle is going to make it where everything stays put. So that's how we're going to do it. And I'm going to see if I can get her together, and then we'll see how that looks. Okay, so I got it back together. It doesn't hold, I mean, it's on there, but the cable's a little bit thicker than the one that was in there. So I think it's fine though. It's holding together real good. And so without anything plugged in, I'm just testing the two legs of the cord just to make sure they're not shorted together or anything inside that plug, because we don't really know what happened when we put the screw in, but it seems like everything's cool. And let's see what we got. The screw was up where you could see it. Perfect. All right, so we got to decide about oiling it. Let me see what I can figure out with the back of it here. Well, I'm looking all over it, and the thing's completely sealed up, so I don't see any hole for oil or anything. Another thing, that red thing on the front that we were looking at, it's this. And I don't know what that is. It's almost like there's a little weight there or something. I wonder if that's going to be magnetized to make it spin or something. I don't know. What the hell is that? Seems like something might be missing. Well, we'll see. So I guess we need to plug it up and just see if anything happens. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? Since it's got the cord on it now, let's test the continuity again. We'll see if it seems like the motor is shorted or something, the windings. So I've got a circuit breaker here on this. Here on this plug. We may need it. It did not test that the lines are shorted, so I don't know if anything's going to happen. We may get it it may be explosive. So I'll plug it in over here, and you watch over there. Tell me if a fire starts. I heard something. Do I have the fire extinguisher handy? Why, hello. Hello, Mr. Clock that's been asleep for probably 50, 60 years. Good to have you back. Wow, that is cool. All it needed was a plug, and you didn't even have to take the clock apart. You could have just pulled it out of the back. Pulled the plug out, put a new cord on it, and away we go. I don't know what the red thing is, though. Maybe I ought to try to look that up. I wonder if something's missing or something. I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to carefully put it back in the case, and then I'm going to do the Google Foo and see if I can find any information about what this thing is supposed to be like. Now, I know what some of you are saying. Well, Ron, you should have done that first. Look, what fun is that? You got to learn by tinkering with it, and then you go look and see what you screwed up. Come on. You don't learn if you just go read. Well, I shouldn't say that. Then people stop watching. Just imagine that you're here with me and we're tinkering with it. So keep watching the videos. All right? Okay, so I'm gonna go research it a little bit. All right, I'm on a website called Telechron.net, and apparently this company, the Warren Telechron company, made a ton of these things. And so the one that we've got is the model 355, the Cathedral. So I'm going to read what they say. It says, made of the famous Bakelite in a rich walnut color, is 5.5 inches wide, 7 1/4 inches high, and 3.5 inches deep. The 3-inch dial is finished in silver. The Cathedral model withstands changes in temperature and moisture, retains its high luster, will not scratch easily, and requires no polishing. The 355 was Telechron's first star. Someone got the bright idea of making a clock people could actually afford, and it took off. This was the most imitated Telechron ever. Every electric clock company who was anybody had a Cathedral design. The early ones had the bronze back, a card grommet, and brass lugs for the rear screws fitted to the case. See, the early ones had the bronze back. Ours was, yeah, so he's saying like that. Ours isn't like that. A cord grommet. Ours doesn't have a grommet. It plugs in. And brass lugs for the rear screws fitted to the case. See below. Probably 4 and 5 Cathedrals came with the famously ill-fitting Bakelite back that screwed right into the plastic case and removable plug. Later models had a painted ivory dial, but a proper closed rear that showed the model number. And then they're going to show us some cool pictures here. Similar to ours. Ours is a little different. Ours is like the one at the top. It says accurate electric time from the power station with Telechron. Springless electric clocks. No winding, oiling, or regulating. So they were $10. It's also the choice of all time. It's also telling me what the red dot is for. Has anybody figured out what the red dot is for? It is a good looking clock. The early Cathedral sported brass lugs right in the case to mount the movement and movement cover. Ours does not. Then someone asked, well, what are we, nuts? And they just tapped right into the Bakelite from then on. That's how ours is. Okay, so, you know, we can be reasonably sure that ours was a model made in 1930. I was thinking that it seemed weird that it had patent dates all the way back to 1918 or whatever. It's because they sold the crap out of them. So apparently it was a really good seller. And, you know, 12 years later, they were still making them whenever that company bought that for that award clock for Mr. Eddie. So, very cool. Okay, so let me show you what the red dot apparently is for. Okay, it seems to be keeping good time. I'm not so sure that these can get off time because they're running off of the frequency of the wall voltage. Okay, so when you press this little thing in the back, you can actually turn it, right? So when I press it in, something grabs it. It almost feels like it's meshing with some gears or something, right? So see, I have it white right now. If I unplug the power, it didn't work. Oh, maybe when I plug it back in. Well, that was a lie. So supposedly that will flip to red if the power goes out. And the reason that would be important is because maybe it's supposed to be red and it flips to white. I don't know. The reason that would be important is so you could tell, you know, you wake up in the morning and if the power had went out in the middle of the night, you would know, hey, wait a minute, the clock's probably not right. I think this was something that people were really worried about back in the day. You know, if you've got a pendulum clock, it's going to tick whether the power goes out or not. And so they probably had people when it first came out that said, I'm not going to use one of those things. If the power goes out, the clock won't go off. Okay, so now we've got it set on red. So I'm going to unplug it and see if it turns to white. I don't know if I can do it with one hand without electric killing myself. No, maybe when I plug it back in. No, so that part isn't working right. Okay, so I've got it back now on white. I think it may be misadjusted. I may have to do some investigation on how you fix it. Supposedly, you have it on white. If the power goes out, it'll flip to red. It may be that it just takes it longer than I'm giving it. So maybe I leave it on white Let's unplug it. And I'll go away for 20, 30 minutes and see if I come back if it is flipped to red on its own. Well, it's been 20 minutes and it didn't reset. I think it's probably supposed to do it immediately. Maybe it's stuck. And it said that when you move the hands, it will turn it white again. Okay, so we've got it red right now. Let me plug it back in. They said when you plug it back in and move the hands, it'll turn it back to the same color as the dial. Okay, so our time's off. I gotta set it. Oh. That didn't move it. Maybe like that. No. Well, something's going on with the red part, but I think I can do without that. I don't have to have that. It feels like it catches in there or something. I don't know. You saw it in there. There's some kind of little weight or something. I can feel it kind of grabbing it whenever you do that. All right, so that's the only thing left, but I think I can live with that. I'm gonna have it unplugged, so I'm gonna leave it red anyway. Boy, it looks cool, doesn't it? I have never heard of these, and apparently they made tons of them. So everybody go to eBay and get you one. We did a video back in December where one of our viewers gave us this Jefferson golden hour clock that we fixed. So now that you know about these Telechrons, go check them out. They're not that expensive. They're cheaper than the Jefferson golden hour. All right, folks, so there you go. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave your comments down below. Have you ever heard of these? I've never heard of them, but now I know. And hey, you know how you can help our channel? There's a link down below all of our videos to Amazon. If you're going to buy anything on Amazon, use our link to buy it. And it doesn't cost you any more. You don't have to sign up for anything. Just click the link. And it gives us a tip because we sent you to Amazon. So we appreciate everybody that's been doing that. And don't forget, last but not least, to check out my brother, Donnie. My brother has his own channel here on YouTube as well. We work on arcade games, pinball machines, and jukeboxes on this channel. I've been working on my truck today. That's why I've got grease all over me. And then on the weekends, we work on clocks, radios, and record players, and old fans. But Donnie works on old vehicles, old buildings, and he has a farm. So go check out his channel. I'm over there with him on the channel usually, but we will see you back here in 2 days with another video. I believe we're doing an arcade video Tuesday, so I'll see you then. I hope you enjoyed it. This is a beautiful Warren Telechron Company Cathedral clock. I love it.